Hello, Namaskar and welcome back to my channel Physio Trends. This is me, Physio Prem Shah, and this is the series I have been continuing, which is about biomechanics of gait analysis. This is the third part of it, in which I am going to teach you all sagittal plane analysis of gait. If you have not watched my first two parts of this series, then you can go through it from my channel, as well as I will provide links in the description. In those two parts, I have explained introduction to the gait, gait initiation and gait cycle. So now today's video, we are going to start with sagittal plane analysis of gait. Well, I couldn't find a better and easier way to explain this sagittal plane, frontal plane and transverse plane analysis of gait. So please let me know in the comments after watching this video that what do you think about my technique of teaching this sagittal plane and frontal plane analysis of gait. So let's begin with the sagittal plane analysis first. In sagittal plane, we are going to have a lateral view in which we are going to notice that in hip level, knee level and ankle level, what are the range of motion changes that we can observe during the normal gait cycle. So in gait cycle, we will start with the stance phase. In stance phase, initially first thing what we perform is heel strike. So when a person is performing heel strike, there is maximum range of motion available in the hip joint. As you can see here, hip joint will be 15 to 20 degrees flexion, knee joint will be 0 to 5 degrees of flexion and ankle will be in neutral position. Now I know that we must feel that why during the heel strike ankle is in neutral position. But let me remind you that just to understand, we see that heel strike is something like this. But in normal gait cycle, if you observe carefully, then ankle is in always neutral position. It is just that the heel is attached with the surface, in contact with the surface. Rest of the part, it is not that much of dorsiflexed. If it was dorsiflexed, it will be very painful for us to walk in normal walking. So that is why in heel strike, hip joint 15 to 20 degrees of flexion, knee joint 0 to 5 degrees of flexion and ankle in neutral position. Moving on to foot flat. Now foot flat is a position in which the body tries to go in the forward direction, and because of that you will see flexion in the knee joint as well as slight plantar flexion in the ankle joint. So the flexion of hip reduces to 15 degrees, 10 to 15 degrees, knee joint becomes 15 degree flexion and ankle joint becomes 5 degrees of plantar flexion. After which there is a mid stance, that is the stage where you are going to transfer the whole body weight to the supporting side, and that is the reason that on that side we will observe that there will be less of the flexion from hip joint, less of the flexion from knee joint, as well as ankle will again come back to the dorsiflexion position. That is why you will observe hip coming back to the neutral position almost near to 0, knee joint coming back to the extended like 5 degrees of flexion only will be available, and ankle will go for 5 degrees of dorsiflexion. Next stage after the mid stance in stance phase is heel off. Now heel off phase, you will observe here that hip joint from neutral it will start going in the extension phase. Knee will be extended to 0 to 5 degrees, mostly near to the 0 degrees, and ankle again will be in neutral position. Remember, this is again in the heel off position where hip is having maximum range of motion, which is in extension 10 to 20 degrees, because now this stance leg is trying to move forward direction, so leg has to go backward, then only there will be forward propulsion of the body. Now after this phase there comes the toe off phase, which is in this phase exactly the toes are pushing off the limbs so that they can exactly go for the acceleration, mid swing and deceleration. So this pushing off is very much important, and for that we require plantar flexion in the ankle joint. So you will notice that in toe off phase almost around 15 to 20 degrees of plantar flexion will be there, which will help us to push off the limb from the ground. Then knee will be flexed more because ground clearance is required. For that, knee will be flexed to 30 degrees. and again hip will remain in 15 to 20 degrees of extension. Now this will be the ranges available for the stance phase in sagittal plane analysis. Now let's continue with the swing phase analysis of the gait cycle in sagittal plane. Swing phase starts with the acceleration. Now acceleration, which is exactly after the toe off phase. So in toe off, as I told you, there is plantar flexion more, and also knee is going for the flexion because ground clearance is required. So that will be present. So that is why you will notice that in swing phase acceleration there will be 5 to 10 degrees of plantar flexion still available. Knee will go for more flexion, which is around 60 degrees of flexion, and hip will move forward in flexion, which is around 20 degrees of flexion. After initial swing or acceleration, there comes the mid swing, in which hip joint has to be stabilized in flexion position, that will be around 20 to 30 degrees. Knee will start extending because it has to reach back to the ground. So that is why knee joint will come back to 30 degrees from 60 degrees, and ankle will remain in neutral position. After this, there is a deceleration phase, which is the initial start to the heel strike phase. So that is why you will notice that hip joint again is flexed to 30 degrees. Knee and ankle will come back to the neutral position because we are ready to land on the ground, and that is the position from where again the heel strike starts, and the same cycle will be continued till a person is walking. So my dear students, these are the normal sagittal plane analysis that we can observe in each and every person. So if anything goes wrong, apart from this, any range of motions are increased or decreased, it can lead to pathological or abnormal gaits. Now same way, let's continue with the frontal plane analysis. So when we are observing somebody's gait from the frontal plane, during the initial first 20% of the stance phase, you will notice that the pelvis of opposite side is slightly dropped, which is 5 degrees of dropping will be there, and because of that, that contralateral side will slightly go for the adduction, and that adduction helps us to perform the heel strike movement on that particular side, and because of which that side will be slightly abducted, and then easily we can clear the ground and move forward to the heel strike. So this is something we have to notice, that initial 20% of stance phase, when person starts to walk, you will notice that contralateral side pelvis will be 5 degrees dropped, and again when that same side is going for toe off position, that same side will be hiked 5 degrees, and that movement will keep on continuing in the pelvis. So that is why in frontal plane analysis, you will notice that pelvis is moving like this from one side to another side, up and down, which is 5 degrees of movement. If it is increasing more than 5 degrees, we will call it as hip hiking. So that hip hiking should not be there, but only pelvis has to move 5 degrees like this up and down when we are walking in normal gait pattern. So moving forward to the transverse plane analysis, which is like when you are looking from up to the pelvis and hip and knee and ankle, what all things you are noticing? That if you want to notice, then you will notice that hip joint is initially going for the external rotation when we are starting to initiate the movement, which is during the heel strike, and when a person is performing toe off or heel off movement, that time hip joint will go for the slight internal rotation. So that external rotation during the initial phases of the gait cycle you will notice in the hip joint, and internal rotation in the hip joint you will notice during the end phases of the gait cycle. Now this you can also understand with the ankle joint movement, because this is a very beautiful concept which occurs when we are walking on the floor in normal gait cycle. That ankle you must notice, just imagine this is your ankle, this is the downward surface, this is the lateral surface, and this side is medial surface. So always remember, whenever a person is performing heel strike, so that time a person tries to have maximum contact on the lateral surface of the ankle. So that is why it will start like this. Let's suppose this is the heel strike, person is trying to go for the foot flat. So you will notice here that on the medial surface a person is not weight bearing much, but heel strike going on the lateral surface maximum, putting the foot down. That time everywhere the distribution of the weight is same. After that, when person tries to go for heel off and toe off, that time you will notice that this weight will be transferred more on the medial side, and from the toes you perform this toe off phase. So what happens basically is, heel strike, you are having maximum weight bearing on the lateral surface of the ankle, moving forward, foot flat, full weight bearing on the full foot. Again going for toe off and heel off, you will see that there is maximum weight bearing on the medial side, and from which you are pushing off the limb from the ground so that you can have a better walking pattern. So this keeps on continuing when we are performing this heel strike, foot flat, toe off, and this will be keep on going on, that you will transfer the weight from the lateral border to the medial border of the ankle. Apart from this, the same forces you will notice as a ground reaction force on your body when a person is walking. So what happens exactly is, on all the phases of stance phase, according to the phases and according to the impact on the ground, equal and opposite side force is acting on your body, which we call it as a ground reaction force. Now as this will be in equal force, we can easily maintain our stance on the ground. If it increases or decreases, there will be a problem in walking for us. So that is why, as you can notice here, during the heel strike, the ground reaction force lining will be like this. It is going in this direction. It is not completely straightforward. It is slightly oblique. In foot flat mid stance, it will be straightforward. Again, heel off, toe off, the direction of ground reaction force changes. So now this everything is applicable when we are doing this sagittal plane, frontal plane, transverse plane analysis, because just now I discussed that in transverse plane analysis you will notice that angle first is weight bearing on the lateral surface and then going to the medial surface. So this angles also matters when the ground reaction force is acting in each and every phases, because of which we can maintain the equilibrium and balance during the normal gait cycle. So my dear students, this is it for this part of the video. I really hope that you have understood this concept of sagittal, transverse and frontal plane analysis. And if you still have any doubts, any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section, and share this videos to more and more students so that they can understand the gait cycle in a better way. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more videos like this. Thank you so much.